What's up, everybody? We are live from Denver, Colorado. Joe Rodriguez, junto con mi cuate Ramon Chavez. What's up, Ramon? How are you?
That's right. Thank you so much for that introduction, Joe. We are live here from Raices Brewery, right next to the stadium.
Literally right next to the stadium.
That is crazy. It's walking distance. I think I want to bring this back to Arizona with me because this is amazing. You have a stadium right next to you have the brewery right next to the stadium. Walking distance, get your fruit brews, get ready, get lit, and then head to the game.
First of all, we want to say a big thank you to Raices Brewery for hooking it up, for allowing us to host this pregame show for Mexico contra Costa Rica. We're extremely excited to be out here on the field once again in Denver, Colorado. I mean, we've already taken a couple of trips around the stadium, and Ramon, you can definitely say that it's lit, isn't it?
It's lit, yeah, no, definitely. And if you're going to take a few laps around the stadium, be ready to be huffing and puffing because not only the altitude, but it goes up and down, it's hilly, but it's a wonderful, beautiful stadium. We got a chance to check in right before we came to do our pregame show, and they are ready. Obviously, some of you may already be watching the USA versus Honduras game, but it's a wonderful field, wonderful stadium, and the atmosphere is amazing. So I'm ready for a thrilling matchup between Mexico and Costa Rica once the USA-Honduras game is over.
Dude, I think that a lot of us are extremely excited about the matchup, but more than anything, because of what I mentioned yesterday, we have the opportunity to see La Selección Mexicana play against the United States. I think that's probably the biggest ticket, if you will, right?
Exactly. Right before we got started, I got a chance to speak to some of the fans that were here with us at Raices Brewery, and they told me, look, I know this is a big game against Costa Rica, but what I truly want is I want a Mexico versus USA matchup on Sunday for the Cup. And so I think that's what everybody wants, Joe. They're here, they're excited, and they're ready to go. So they're hoping for a victory tonight, a clear victory, in order to move on to face the USA on Sunday. But even that is a little in peril because of the way they're playing against Honduras right now.
Yes, it's interesting. And first of all, we want to remind everybody to make sure that you send us your comments. We're already getting comments coming right through. So we want to say really quick hi to Bere Alvarez. Dice, hola chicos, Andy de Osa. Andy, I'm sorry, man. I always mess up your name, brother. El hermano, el parcero colombiano. Saludos all the way out to LA. Dice que una fría, Ramon.
I need it. They asked me, and I said, you know what? I'm going to take it light. I got my little seltzer water over here, but maybe after the show.
Yeah, so anyway, keep on saying hello to everybody because we are live from Raices Brewery here in Denver, Colorado. But going back to what you talked about the United States, right? Not a lot of things looking that great for them. And again, you know, we want to see that Mexico-U.S. matchup, but I told you yesterday also, they have to defeat Honduras.
That's right.
You cannot just waltz into these type of games. And the same thing is going to be said for Mexico.
No, exactly. And you know, you talked about it yesterday in our preview that the USA is here, but they also brought out their big guns. So right now there's no excuses. They lost against Honduras in the Olympic qualifiers. Everybody kind of shrugged their shoulders here in the US, but this is the time to prove it. They're talking about winning a World Cup in a few years, but they got to get through teams like Honduras, like Mexico, if they do want to accomplish that goal. And after watching that first half, I'm not sure they're there yet. So we'll see what happens, Joe.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait, obviously, for another 45 minutes before we figure out, or actually even extra time as well, right?
Yeah, it could go to extra time, exactly.
Right, so let's talk about our game, though. I mean, honestly,
El plato fuerte.
Yeah, at the end of the day, look, if the United States doesn't make it, it's going to suck because obviously we would want for Mexico-U.S., right? But
exactly.
We care more about our selección making it to the final. Mm-hmm. That's what we care about. So what are like some of the things that you actually like about this team that's coming in?
I like the youth, actually. You know, when we talk about Mexico, you know, we have a generational shift right now. We see a Guardado that was complaining about maybe being a little bit too old to maybe go to the next Olympics, and that's why he wanted to go to the one that's happening this summer. But we also have people like Chucky Lozano, who's now becoming the forefront person of the selección. We also have Antuna. Even though a lot of people talk a lot of smack about Antuna, I feel like he's a really good young guy that can eventually form into something great. We also have Arteaga that might start today, and he's one of the youngest defenders that we need, and they're actually across the pond in Europe. So a lot of youth coming in. I just want to see it on the field. I want them to get those reps against this elite competition, and then before they get started with the rest of their summer.
It would be great to get a lot of those youngsters some playing time because at the end of the day, it's the experience that always trumps everything, right? And I know I had to use the word trump. I'm trying to get away from that, by the way. But you know what I'm saying. The experience just gives them so much value that practice is not going to. Our good friend Super Mojado always talks about that, right? About the guys that play out in Europe and how, you know, at the end of the day, yeah, it would be great if these fellas were playing versus just practicing.
Yep.
You know, and I agree with him, man. There's nothing like playing the game, man. Like, they don't take it easy. Yeah, of course, some practice sessions can be grueling and they can be really tough, but there's nothing like playing the game.
Exactly. And when we have our Mexicans go abroad, we want them to be part of the Champions League. We want them to be part of the Europa League. I don't want someone sitting in the bench because it doesn't benefit the national team. I want them starting. I want them not only to be starting, actually, Joe, to be the key persons of the matches. So that's one of the things that Mexico has to focus, and that's why I always encourage the youth movement. And Tata Martino actually brought along some of the under-18 players in order to start that movement already, to train with the older guys here in the national team. So I love what Tata Martino's doing. I love all these people that are coming in. But here's the thing, the USA also has these guys that are playing in big-time teams like Barcelona, Juventus. We just saw Pulisic win the Champions League with Chelsea. So we have a lot of competition on that side, so we need to make sure that the national team for Mexico is doing that as well.
Indeed, at the end of the day, it's the representation that goes far beyond, you know, just being in Europe, right? And yeah, like, I mean, also, let's talk about Pulisic really quick. He took a lot of heat, right? Because he did play, but a lot of people were saying, especially the Mexican fans, were like, well, what kind of an impact did he provide or did he bring to that Champions League final? Yeah. But that's a whole nother story. Ramon, let's shift gears now. Talk about Tata Martino and about the coolness, I would say, of how he's handled dealing with the national team and dealing with the press that's extremely tough. I'm serious, man. I mean, the only thing that I can say, obviously, seasoned veteran, right? Like, I mean, come on, the guy's been at Barcelona, you know, like the top of the top of the
Chile.
the top of the game, right? But even then, like, Mexico is another beast of its own, and he's handled it relatively well. From what you've seen from Tata Martino, you know, since he took over, what have you liked the most about him?
Like I said earlier, I like the way that he approaches the youth. He wants to carry them forward and make sure that they're taking the steps to not only become a star, but properly become a part of the national team and bring those skills that they have with their club teams over to the national team. Now, when it comes to the press, the Mexican press is no joke. Even in Spain, they're joking that if Zidane wants to come to Mexico and deal with the Mexican press, that's going to be one of the challenges. So the Mexican press is always going to be on Martino. It's always going to be on the Mexican national team in order to bring the results home. And Tata Martino may be getting a little bit tired of it. We see some of the coaches kind of give up and say, you know what, whatever, I'm doing what I want to do. Now, Martino's not going to be like that. I think he has a little bit more class. But we saw it in the press conference yesterday. He doesn't like to do the media and answer some of these questions that we have. And he also mentioned that he's not a big fan of these Nation League finals games as well. So he doesn't see the benefit of it. So I love Tata Martino. I need to see more results. The only thing that I've seen so far, Joe, is a Gold Cup. So once World Cup qualification starts, once we get to the thick of things, that's when we're really gonna see what Tata Martino's made of.
Yeah, I gotta think about a lot of these coaches that started out on fire, right? And we've seen that maybe the last like 3 or 4 times. We saw it most recently with Ricardo Osorio. A lot of people forget that Ricardo Osorio ended up starting his tenure with the Mexican national team on fire. Yeah. The guy was winning everything left and right.
Las rotaciones,
but he was winning for like the first 15 games. I can't remember the
he had a winning streak,
Yeah, right. I can't remember the exact statistic, but it was very, very good, right? So it was no surprise that Martino was obviously going to be able to, like, you know, just do what he's been doing so far. Yep. But the truth of the matter is that I think the expectations now, because of the type of coach and the type of caliber that he brings to the table, are significantly higher than somebody like Osorio. No disrespect to Osorio, but the truth of the matter is, like, one thing is being Ricardo Osorio, another thing is being Tata Martino coming from Barcelona, Argentina, right? So I think that you know, he's done a relatively good job, like, just handling things in a very smooth way. Look, Tata also understands too that it's the nature that we are part of CONCACAF. I say we like I play, right? Yeah, me too. the Mexican national team is parte de la CONCACAF.
Yeah.
This is the luck of the draw. So, you have to work with what you have.
Yeah.
That's just a reality. But what I do like and that I have seen, and I don't know if it's partly because of the pandemic or what have you, but we've seen a lot more games in Europe.
Yeah.
And I've been a fan of that. What do you think about that?
No, I love them. Everybody talks about los partidos moleros. When it comes, actually in our podcast, if you listen to El 3 Online Soccer Podcast, El Mexican Soccer Podcast, we have Super Mojado. He doesn't like these games. So shout out to Super. He doesn't like these games. They're partidos moleros para él. It doesn't bring any benefit to the national team. But here's the thing. We got to realize, Joe, that sometimes these European teams, they don't want to cross across the pond to play a Mexican team. Sometimes Mexico has to go over there in order to get that level of playing that we're yearning for. And I love it. I love the fact that the European players, instead of saying, you know what, I got to go to Mexico and then fly to the U.S. and then from the U.S. back to Europe, they have a chance to, stay where they're at, maybe travel an hour, and then be part of these competitive games that I feel Mexico really benefits from, instead of coming over here and playing against Islandia or, not disrespectful, like an Honduras, El Salvador, a nation that's probably not, one of the forces in the world. I think it benefits Mexico to be playing over there more.
Absolutely. Vamos a mandar unos más saluditos. By the way, Andy's updating us with Chile Argentina 1-1, gol de Alexis. So obviously South American eliminatoria is also very important.
That's definitely important. And Joe, I have a quick question after we're done with these comments about that.
Also, I want to send a shout out to Jose Perez. Let's go Mexico. This is from West Valley, Phoenix. So saludos al buen Jose Perez. So again, make sure you continue to bring in all your comments. Aquí la gente de PBA Denver, they were like right behind us, and then
they were getting lit, and then obviously the game's about to start. So
el partido empezó y ya como que dijeron, ¿sabes qué? Ya nos vamos al partido.
Ya nos vamos.
But we'll be heading out to the game as well, but it's all good. It's all good, right? At the end of the day, we're going to do our thing. We're going to keep on, bringing you the live atmosphere. I have a good feeling that it's going to get lit up in here, too.
Yeah, we're going to get some people here. And shout out to everybody in the comments. Shout out to DDV, Deportivo del Valle. Shout out to them. Thank you for tuning in to El 3 Online.
Well, all right. So I'm now curious to hear your comments. You say you were going to have a comment.
So we saw a comment here that they're updating us on the eliminatorias de Conmebol, Sudamérica. Now, if Mexico, who is part of the Americas technically, was part of the South American Confederation, would they be able to make the World Cup as many times as they have? Because if you stack them against like Brazil and Germany, Mexico's right there making it, almost every World Cup. So what do you think, Joe? You think if they were part of Conmebol, they would be at the World Cup every 4 years?
You know what? I'm going to go out, not even on a limb. I'm just going to be very blunt about this. Absolutely. I think that Mexico would probably be the third strongest team in South America. I know Andy's probably going to be like, Parcero, Colombia is the third best at least, But let's be real. I mean, a lot of the players from South America end up going to Mexico. They use it as a trampoline, although now MLS is becoming that.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that you have a lot of these players from South America that end up playing the Liga MX. So what ends up happening, Ramon, right? Se foguean with the Mexican players, and the Mexican players also do end up becoming better because of that. I think that Mexico has shown through their performances in Copa America that they are one of the better teams, because every time they've taken their entire team, or they're like, not B team, they've always performed, whether it's second place or third place, always getting past the knockout stage, past el quinto partido.
Yeah.
Right? The Copa America, the Copa America and quinto partido, not a problem at all. But when it comes to Mexico, in the World Cup, obviously that's a completely different game. I just think that if they were in Copa America, ultimately it would help them, because les daría un poco más de confianza también. That's what I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think they can use the Copa America and being part of Conmebol as kind of like a measuring stick, I loved I think the last time we actually had a really competitive team was in 2007, when we had Nery Castillo. You remember that name? Rafa Marquez, Cuauhtémoc Blanco, all these guys that were ready there. And I think they had just came from playing a Copa Oro that they lost to the USA, and this team still was able to get to the final rounds of that Copa America. After that, we always had issues with the scheduling and stuff like that. So I think you're right, Joe. I think if Mexico was there, they would, I wouldn't say every single 4 years they would qualify, but I think they'd be there most of the time again, they'd be definitely top 3, top 4 of that confederation.
We want to give a little quick saludito to our good friend Super Diego. He's saying Mexico would not go to the World Cup for the first few cycles, but would evolve into that third best team. So we want to know why, Diego, you think that. I completely disagree. I think they already are the third best team. And again, I just go back to the performances.
So you would put Mexico over Uruguay right now?
I would. I think that Mexico and Uruguay would be, like a very strong third. Like, and I'm not saying like undoubtedly or like unanimously.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like the race for third between Mexico, Uruguay, Colombia, and even Chile will be a tight third place.
I mean, we just played Uruguay in the Copa America in 2016. Now, when we faced Chile, that was a different story.
Right, right. Well, let's not even talk about that. Like, hold on, dude. I gotta bring the little. Wait, no. Me gusta eso mejor. Yeah, I mean, let's not talk about. Let's not talk about.
No, I think it would be competitive, but I think, like I said earlier, they would miss a few cycles. So I agree here and there, but definitely it would be competitive.
You think they would?
Yeah, no, definitely.
They wouldn't be making it like to every World Cup.
I don't think they would have made it in 2014.
Another thing that would happen though is that they would add another sede, another like spot.
Got it.
So they would have to. Instead of being like 4.5 teams, now you're talking about 5 teams, right?
Probably.
Because if you're adding like one of the powerhouses from the region, it's kind of like when Australia left the Oceania and they went to Asia. Yeah. They ended up like doing some modifications.
Gave to the other side. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think the same thing would happen. Maybe it would become a full 5 versus like that 4.5.
I'm not opposed to just joining everything together.
Dude,
I'm definitely a fan. If they can do qualifications to the Gold Cup, I think they can do qualifications for Copa America for these smaller Central American teams.
Yeah. Quick update on the U.S. game. So it's still 0-0. So 0-0.
I love the way Honduras is playing. If you guys are watching the game, I love their grittiness, their competitiveness. They're not backing down to these United States superstars.
Dice el buen Super Diego, Mexico has a bunch of dead weight that they would shed after a few competitive cycles.
I think there would be more of an expectation. I think he's completely right. I don't think there would be any excuses like as much as we give him now.
Well, I also think that a lot of things would probably change too. I think a lot of the things in the compadrismo era would probably change too. A lot of the players that are supposed to play or deserving to play would be playing. So, there's obviously a lot of truth involved in a lot of these things. But again, the reality is that unless we actually see things go down and things happen, then we're not really gonna know. La raza keeps on filing in, like little by little. They're getting more pompeados with the game. What do you think? Do you think most of these fans want the U.S. to lose? Probably, right?
No, I think they want them to win. I think they want the Mexico-USA matchup. I don't think we get a really competitive matchup unless it's like a qualification or the Gold Cup final, whenever it's like that. So I'm a fan of it. I think that's all that we want. We want the USA, Mexico. Here's the thing: you go on Twitter, you go on Reddit, all these sites, you have the USA fans all over the threads telling you that USA is 1,000% better than Mexico. So let's prove it. Let's go ahead and beat Honduras here. Let's have Mexico take care of business, and we'll see you in the final, and we'll determine that. So I'm definitely a fan of that, and I want them to face off in the final.
I love how we talk so we'll see you in the final. We'll see them in the final. Ramon's gonna be playing extremo izquierdo. I'm gonna be playing centro delantero. We'll see them in the final, but.
No, put me right there. I don't move fast, but just give me the ball. Te la paso, un centro.
I'm trying to share this episode also on Twitter, so just in case. Forgive me that I'm multitasking here. That's how we do it here, right?
That's right.
With our little bootstrap production and everything that's going on. Hey, you know what? A lot of people would probably be surprised actually if they were watching what we're doing and they were actually able to see the little setup that we got going on. It's pretty cool.
It's nice, yeah.
So anyway, I'm trying to tweet things out. Please share the episode with everybody. Super Diego, I know you're watching. Share it to your compadres, to your primos, to everybody, man.
I know everybody has these group chats, so go ahead and just drop the link there. Support, your boy Ramon Chavez here, George Rodriguez, eltrieng online. We love what we do here. That's why we flew out to Denver to be part of the community, and so we appreciate every comment, every like, every share, every view that you do, and it just helps us become bigger and bring better and more awesome content to you. So appreciate everybody that's watching.
That's right, Ramon. So anyway, man, I think that it's really cool to be in this crazy environment. This cool atmosphere. In a way, being back at the stadium also started making me feel like, we're alive again. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
It's a really good feeling. because ultimately we get an opportunity to be back with our gente, right?
Con
with
la
the
raza.
audience, con la raza, yeah, dude. And I keep on seeing like people like just like walking in and like, you know, making their way to the stadium, and that's an exciting feeling. So in the comments, let us know what is the next Mexico game. If you're not obviously coming to this game, but what's the next Mexico game that you're planning to attend? Let us know. Which game are you hyped about? Actually, speaking of next game, you told me some breaking news about Mexico,
So,
right?
again, I read it on Twitter, so just letting you know, kind of a little heads up. So there was supposed to be the Mexico-Nigeria game over there in the LA Coliseum, but apparently, based on my sources, my Twitter sources, it has been moved to Arlington. So they're probably back at the Cowboys Stadium. So we'll see what happens. I know Joe was a little bit upset because he had already booked this flight. So, but you know, we'll get some confirmation for that. But hopefully they can stay in LA. I think California is yearning for some games because Texas got all of them. So,
dude, all I know is that if that is accurate, and maybe somebody in the comment section could let us know if that's the case. But if that is accurate, it's gonna suck because yes, indeed, my ticket was booked. We were hoping to do something massive out of LA. A lot of our ETO fellas are out there. Speaking of which, saludos al buen Luis Bravo, Leo Hernandez, Francisco, Fernando, Bere, Andres, you know, Ivan. Saludos a toda esa raza, and I hope that that's not the case. But you know, if Twitter's saying it, it's almost always true, right?
Some of the time, yeah, exactly.
But anyway, so let us know. Let us know what is the game that you're looking forward to. Also, what is the tournament that you're looking forward to the most, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe like the games that you're looking forward to the most. We talked about it yesterday in the little paquetito that we did. We talked about the amazing summer that's coming our way, and it's just really exciting. Luis Bravo, speaking of, he says, "Hey guys, dope pregame show." And he's also shocked. What? Yeah, I know. I think everybody's shocked. Like, what do you mean, what?
Why you got to put me on the spot? You already knew the answer.
No, all I'm saying is that it would suck if that's the case, because what does that mean? Like, shift the tickets, have all the guys from LA go out to Dallas. But you're right, dude. Like, what's up with like this Dallas? Like, is like, ¿cómo se llama este Cowboys owner? Jerry.
Oh man, I know. I didn't talk about Jerry.
Oh my God! And
what's his name?
I said his name 1,000 times on SportsCenter, and I can't even. Oh my God!
I'm blank.
Where's Jair? Where's Jair? El dueño de los Cowboys. Ese canijo. I feel like he owns the national team, dude. Or at least has a lot to say, right?
America's team that doesn't win championships, yes. But.
Yes. Wait, where is it?
Oh no, Jair's gonna get mad at me now.
I know Jair's gonna start like, yeah. Luis is saying, I hope I haven't heard about that. Tickets were still on sale today, but for once, I hope
Jerry
Ramon
Jones.
Oh, saludos al buen Carver. He says Jerry Jones, of course.
Thank you, Luis.
Of course. Anyway, dude, that's what happens, right? When you hear of a person's name and you say it so much, you take it for granted.
Yeah.
And you think you're never gonna.
I don't even think. Well, when you say it, you don't say Jerry space Jones. You say Jerry Jones.
Yeah, you say exactly.
You say it all right.
Jerry Jones, el dueño de los Cowboys. Ese dueño. But anyway, so again, let us know what game tournament you're most excited about.
So Joe, let me ask you about the Mexico Summer. Obviously, we have the Nations League. I don't think you're a big fan of those games, right?
Nations League.
They're fun, right?
I mean, look, hold on. Again, I already gave you my take. I think the game against Costa Rica today has a lot of potential. That's just the reality, right? It could be a really fun game.
So if you were to rank them, because obviously we have the Olympics, the Gold Cup, and Nations League. Give me a 1, 2, 3 in order of importance for a 3.
Olympics, hands down.
Number 1?
Olympics, hands down, because it's a global event.
Yep.
Yes, it's sub 23. However, this year sub 24, right, or under 24, because they gave them the extra year of eligibility. And I think that just carries so much weight. The fact that the national team gets an opportunity to try to get another gold medal.
Yeah.
You know, it's great. And I think also what ends up happening is that if Mexico ends up performing well in the Olympics, that there's a lot of visibility for a lot of these Mexican players, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And the cool thing about that is that not only do they have that visibility, but typically it's like the trampoline into like the next step, right? Which is typically Europe, which a lot of these players want to get to.
And that's really surprising because it's not a FIFA sanctioned event. So a lot of these clubs are maybe hesitant to release these players. But you see all these national team players raise their hand and say, you know what, for example, Mexico ended up with France in their group. You have Mbappe wanting to be a part of it, André Pierre Gignac from Tigres as well. And so I think that's amazing competition. I know it's under 24, But I think it's a good time to for these Mexican players to prove themselves against top-tier competition, because France is no joke, whatever tier you're talking about.
So, but Diego's saying, I don't know if the joke applies, but the Cowboys are the Cruz Azul of the NFL. Well, not anymore, because they just won a title.
No,
so.
Cruz Azul is above the Cowboys,
Exactly.
They got a championship.
Exactly. ¿Dónde está otra vez? Hold on. For all the Cruz Azul fans, saludos a todos los buen Cruz Azul.
As much as I hated watching them win, as much as I hated it, congratulations. I'm an America fan, so congratulations.
Yeah, America fan, right? I get to sit with an America fan. And
Cuando ganamos, soy fan.
¿Y cuando pierden?
Pues no.
Anyway, Ramon, look, so again, going back to the Olympics are just very prestigious. That's just the reality. The Gold Cup, Mexico is expected to at least be in the finals.
We're playing El Salvador, we're playing Belize or Haiti, Curaçao.
Yeah. But and not disrespecting those teams, but the reality is it's just like a AAA team versus a major league team. Yeah. A lot of those guys have day jobs. You know what I mean? So it's
one's a dentist, and then he has to fly on the weekend and go play.
Yeah. We were talking about that earlier today. Remember about how back in the day, a lot of players used to actually have day jobs too.
Yeah.
In the National Football League, and obviously in MLS, when MLS started, the salary was so low. It was
it's less than 100,000, right?
What do you mean less than 100,000, dude? It was $18,000. It was something ridiculous.
It's a summer job.
Pretty much. And these guys weren't even able to afford to live on their own, so they all have to roommate.
Room up.
So there's a lot of guys that I know from way back in the day when their leagues started, and they tell me these stories about a lot of their young players and the stuff they had to go through, and it sucks, man. So the league has definitely evolved significantly. But anyway, another quick update on the USA Costa Rica. It's still 0-0, minute 66. Hey, we could potentially be going to extra time and penalties here. Extra time, right? Or
I think they go to extra time, yeah. So.
All right, Ramon, I'm going to put you on the spot, man. I know that you asked me earlier about Mexico clinching the World Cup, and you were saying that unlikely that they do it consistently just the same way that they do with CONCACAF, right? But what do you think is the thing that needs to happen so we can get just Mexico up to that next level? And I know that it's very easy to talk about el quinto partido, right? That's the thing that we love to talk about.
Yeah.
But it's the thing that, if it's think about it, 7 World Cups in a row, man. It's insane. Nobody has something like that or anything remotely close. But what needs to happen with Mexico so they can get over that hump?
So, in my opinion, we need to forget the quinto partido stuff. That doesn't work for me. We should shoot for the stars when it comes to the World Cup. If we're gonna use the World Cup as the measuring stick for the national team, we need to go above the quinto partido. I want to win the group. I want to fly by the 5th and 6th game, get to at least the semifinals, and be competitive. I want to be against these nations that are churning out players. And even though Mexico is probably not going to be there for the next 5-10 years, I want them to be competitive. I want us to have a system where we know when we all come together with the chemistry that we have, with the talent that we have, we can make some noise on the international stage. And so for me, we need more youth. We need more youth to be able to go and jump the pond. We need people like Orbelín Pineda to say, you know what, I love playing in Cruz Azul, but guess what? My dream is to go in Europe and get better over there. Luis Romo, same thing. These guys that are winning championships, they need to get a flight, booked out to them the moment that they win the championship. I saw an example with America, Edson Alvarez, Diego Lainez. Yes, it did take some time for both of them to get acclimated to the European calendar and the style of game and the matches. But guess what? A year and some change later, they're role players and they're important players in their respective teams. So that's what we need. We need more players across the pond, starting, competing in these games, and giving Mexico that experience and that top tier skills that they lack, because sometimes we play all against CONCACAF opponents, and when we face a Belgium, when we face a Brazil and Argentina,
fall apart.
We fall flat. And so we need these players that are ready to sweat for la camiseta, that are not thinking about el quinto partido, they're ready to win it all.
Absolutely, and you make an extremely good point, right? And we've seen it in the World Cup, right? Every time it's a tough opponent, it almost feels like it's always Argentina or a South American team, right? Or Germany.
Yeah.
But when it's an opponent of that caliber, it's like their knees start to like get weak, you know?
Yeah, and
there
were some comments in 2018 right before Brazil. I think it was Juan Carlos Osorio that he looked at the locker room and everybody had already given up. Because it was Neymar, it was Marcelo, it was all these top tier players that they usually play with against their leagues.
Right.
But for some reason, they all had already fallen apart. And I think it starts with the leadership. Who is the leader of the national team? Is it Andrés Guardado? Is he leading the charge? Is it Raúl Jiménez? You know, is it Chicharito? And if it is Chicharito, do you want Chicharito to be the guy that's leading the locker room?
Yeah, it's really hard to say who is the leader, especially because, you know, there's a lot of players kind of like at the tail end of their career, right? So we don't know if it's going to be Guardado. We don't know, like, you know, who's going to be the one that's going to be, you know, leading this charge, right? But the truth of the matter is that Mexico has a lot of things that they need to work on. But you're absolutely right. You know, the falta de cojones, right? Like, de coraje. And the Argentinos use this word very often, and they throw it around, you know, and it's synonymous to their style of play, garra. You know, they use the word garra, like, because they play with coraje, you know. And I think sometimes that's the one thing that, unfortunately, Mexico lacks. But it's so weird because how is it possible that we have some of the best boxers in the world where you really need the most cojones?
Yeah.
You know, that's where you need the most huevos, like, to be able to, you know, to, like, show that coraje. And, like, I feel like in soccer...
We turn into Logan Paul. The reference for you guys, if you didn't know.
Exactly. So my point is that I think that you're right. It begins at the top with leadership, not just with the coach, but also with the players, right? The players that are at the top. But that's why I was such a big fan of those teams from '94, from '98. Yeah. You know, because those teams played with that coraje, man. Like, le tenían el amor a la camiseta. Yeah. You know, they had that tenacity, right? That I feel like a lot of the players nowadays, like, they just end up, like, you know, coming in. Yeah, they're great, they're skillful, they do their job, but that's it. It ends at doing their job.
No, and it's sad to see, you know, when we want to talk about players that are part of the national team, you know, we talk about Chicharito. I love Chicharito. I've loved him from the start, but for some reason he's not part of the national team. Why does that happen with La Selección? Why do we have players as emblematic, the top scorer of all time for Mexico, not being part of the national team because of some behind the doors, you know, issue? We don't see that in other nations, you know, and so that's the thing that I want to fix with our selección, to have that leadership, to be able to be in a room together and everybody know the goal, that we want to win the World Cup, that we want to be the best in the world. We have over 100 million people in Mexico and we can't produce these top tier teams.
Insane.
Belgium is like 1/64 of our size and they have top tier talent, and that doesn't make sense to me. So there's something that needs to be fixed.
Absolutely. And it's shameful. Not just Belgium, the Netherlands, you know, all these smaller European teams.
The size of Texas, not even the size of Texas.
Not even, dude, the size of Connecticut. It's true, man. The size and population of Connecticut. Right. That's it. That's the crazy part. Like, that these teams, like, feel such an incredible team, and don't even go about like, oh well, that's all they do, right? Yeah, and that's all Mexicans do, or they claim that that's all they do, you know. But I don't know, man. We could spend hours and hours talking about compadrismo and all this and that, and that's why a lot of people fear that ultimately the United States is going to end up like taking over the you know, Mexico. I saw you peeking. It looks like you got some lineups, right?
I got a little bit of an update here. These could be the possible lineups. This wasn't confirmed. This is from Gibran Araique.
Oh, they're confirmed, dude. Gibran, saludos al Gibran. Aunque no nos escuche, but he's probably, you know, busy doing his thing. Saludos al buen Gibran.
All right, so we'll start with the back. El legendario, the best goalkeeper in Mexican history. Guillermo Ochoa. He's going to start at the goalkeeping position.
I had to sneak it in.
Joe wants El Conejo. That's who he thinks it is. In the back line, we have Chaca Rodriguez, Nestor Araujo, Héctor Moreno, and Gerardo Arteaga. I don't know about Araujo, but I'm loving that back line. I don't know about Chaca either. In the middle, we have
Chaca's not bad. I don't have a problem with Chaca.
No?
No.
Edson Alvarez, Héctor Herrera, Andrés Guardado. I like it. I like the lineup. It's a little bit slow.
Doesn't seem like you like it.
It's a little bit slow for a midfield, so hopefully they're able to be on their best.
I feel like sometimes like we get a couple of tortuguitas, right, like in the Mexican side.
I love Edson. He's a great defensive person, but sometimes you need that quickness for a counterattack, and I don't think he brings that.
Okay, so would you rather have like an Edson or a Diego Reyes who's like, you know, skin and bones and gets broken?
I want a Luis Romo.
Okay.
I think he can play that spot. So
or an Héctor Moreno in his prime, right?
Héctor Moreno, yeah, exactly.
Guys like that. Obviously,
Moreno.
No Rafa Marquez anymore.
I
right?
know, he used to, that was the perfect spot for him. On the right side, we have Antuna. Think that's good?
It's against Coca-Cola. So.
That's why he's hyped. You can just see him in the locker room getting hyped.
Yeah. I can easily see an Antuna hat trick today. But although it's not Haiti, so.
And it's not even like great goals, just like the Chiripa, just like
whatever. Like he does it.
That's true.
He gets the job done.
Gets the job done. Is that what we want? That's true.
No, do we?
I think so.
No, I want more than that. But we'll take the goals.
Lozano, of course,
yeah.
Left side. And I'm gonna ask you this question: who do you want on the striker role?
I don't know. I mean, like, what are my options? Tell me.
You have Pulido. You can put Chucky in there, and you have Henry Martin. So who do you want to go with?
I think then I would go with Puligol. Puligol has been actually playing pretty decent with Sporting KC. So give the guy that's scoring the opportunity, right? And that's why a lot of people are criticizing Tata for not bringing in Chicharito, right?
Yeah.
The guy that's scoring the goals. And again, like, his goals at the LA Galaxy are not beautiful, but like, they're going in the back of the net.
The MLS Player of the Month, by the way. Tata, if you're listening to eltrieng Online, take note of that.
Tata's like, what is eltrieng Online?
La Media.
Hey, whatever, Tata.
The
Make
media.
Sure, listen to us.
But actually, just to answer your question, Joe, Henry Martin will be up top. I'm not happy about that. I did want Pulido as well.
Okay.
I don't think Martin had a great game at all in Dallas, so I would want Pulido to be in that role.
Look, despite him being from America, obviously when he wears La Verde, or in this case La Rosa, or whatever they're wearing today, I'm always going to root for, regardless of what squad they play for.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, shoot, I used to root for Carlos Hermosillo when he used to play for the national team, despite being like one of the best like America players of all time. You know, same thing with Saguinho and all these other guys. I just don't think also like that that he has what it takes to like be one of those like leaders at top. You know, but does he have potential? Potentially.
No, I like Henry Martin. I just think he's maybe going through a tough stretch. He did have some troubles with his brother. I don't know if you heard about that. So that maybe his mind is not completely focused on the team and what's on the field. So, and like you're saying, Pulido is doing great over there. He's scoring goals. He's making his presence known. And I think definitely Pulido is someone that I would want Tata Martino to give a chance. Here's the thing. I'm not going to lie. Raul Jimenez, you are sorely missed. You know, hopefully he can be cleared at some point, hopefully for the qualifiers, for him to be able to join the team. Horrific injury that he's been through. You know, I was reading an article where his wife thought that he had passed away on the field, which was terrible. So I'm extremely happy and grateful that he is still able to partake in soccer activities. So hopefully we have him back, you know, if not 100%, near 100 and ready to go.
There was a video that I saw. I think it was one of his very first training sessions with Wolverhampton. I don't know if you saw that video.
He has like the thing around his head.
Yeah, and I think he's going to have to wear that for the rest of his life. They said that already, right?
Yeah.
But it was one of the earliest videos that Wolverhampton released. And I remember watching, like, he was doing, like, you know, these, like, movements, and it was, like, very, like, it was a very specific, like, soccer movement. I don't know what they call it, but it's, like, where they touch stuff, and, you know, it's more like for reflex, right? But when you saw him do that, and even like everybody in the comment section was like, "Whoa! Like, what is going on with Pulido? I mean, with Jimenez."
Yeah.
But what do you mean? What is going on? The guy suffered a freaking life-changing hate injury.
No.
So I wish that he could be back at 100%. I just don't find it realistic.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, who knows? Maybe 2 years from now or something like that. Maybe by the time the World Cup comes again.
It'll definitely take time. You're right.
But it's crazy. I mean, like, that kind of injury, like you said, like his wife was saying that she thought he was dead. I mean, I when I watched it, I was like, oh my God, like what just happened?
No, and then he had to be rushed to the hospital. He had to get, you know, a
surgery.
You know, and so we're lucky. You know, we appreciate him, and it's just a terrible situation, and that's just the name of the game too. You know, that's the risk that you get sometimes playing sports like this, and hopefully him and his family can get to 100%.
Absolutely. We wish him the very best. I mean, he for sure was one of the best Mexican players that we've seen in recent time. He was showing that he was one of the best.
Written off by a lot of people, by the way.
For sure.
When he was at Atlético Madrid, tronco, no sirve.
Same
he went
thing.
to Benfica, tronco, no sirve. Went to Wolverhampton, nobody was really too much into it.
That's why he went to Wolverhampton, right? They were like, why didn't he go to Chelsea or Arsenal or Man U or what have you.
But guess what? A couple years at Wolverhampton,
Everybody wants them.
Real Madrid. You see Manchester
Knocking at
United.
the door. Everybody knocking
hey, how
at
you
the
doing?
door. Exactly. So we just want to remind everybody that we're here at Raices Brewery here in Denver, Colorado. I'm going to put up our little grafiquita just to remind everybody donde estamos. And if you guys are watching, or if you guys know anybody that's here and they want to, come and say hi to us, hey, by all means, let them know. Let them know. Come and say hi. Aquí los entrevistamos. We're trying to get our good friend Casiro Ayama, a ver si he joins us via Zoom. Maybe at least that we can do like a little quick audio.
El Gran Casiro.
A little quick audio hit. But if you guys are here, come and say hello, and we'll get you guys. We'll interview you guys. So you guys can give your thoughts. We have another good 20 minutes or so before we wrap things up here.
You want to give an update to the game?
Yeah, go ahead. What is it?
So Honduras, La H, against the mighty USA, they're tied 0-0 in the 80th minute.
Oof.
I think this is going OT.
I think so
Extra
too.
time.
So then that means what's going to happen to us?
That means we go a couple more hours. We'll do it. I'm sure Joe could do it. A couple more hours.
Hey, we can handle it.
Might need to get a brew though.
We did the puro pinche watch party like Mexico Honduras final, and Super Mojado and I were going like 3.5 hours strong.
That went to penalties. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
we can definitely handle
you
that.
got the stamina.
But Ramon, look, we see our good friend Guinan right now also doing his report. It's cool to see like all the people out in Denver. Like, tell me when the little that we got a chance to see from the fans, what kind of like vibe and feeling did you get from that?
Actually, I'll tell you a story of not from the stadium. Last night we got an Uber. I got a share ride over there back to our hotel, and immediately the gentleman was, "Hey, I'm excited for the game. I'm ready to go. I'm glad you guys are here to cover it." He's bringing his family along, and that just kind of brings some sort of joy, when you come over here and cover the games, because this is what that's about. It's not about the money. It's not about having the shows like this. It's about having the fans that are, missing their homeland, that still cheer on their team, and that are working hard, but they're thinking about La Selección, and they're wanting to have their families come over and enjoy, our national team here. And it's not often maybe they come over here to Denver. I know they were scheduled to come here back in May of 2020, I believe, before it got canceled due to the pandemic. But they're glad they're here. They're ready to support their team. I expect the Mexican raza to show up and cheer on their team. So I'm really happy about that. I'm happy to be here, to be part of the atmosphere of the stadium. Like I said, it's been a couple of years since we've gone to go. I think the last game I got to go was against Argentina in San Antonio. Maybe not the best result that we wanted that time, but again, that electricity, the atmosphere, the energy, you feel it in the air, and we're just ready for the matchup for today. And imagine that energy times 100 if they play against the USA.
Yeah, they're probably gonna fight too. They're probably gonna fight. Hey, if they end up like fighting, then hey, let them fight, right?
Hey. No. Nos van a poner el warning.
Hey, speaking of fighting and dangerous activities, right? So we want to remind everybody, especially those of you guys that might be tuning in and listening to us right now, that the game folks are actually taking the derogatory chant, El P chant, extremely serious. So if you're gonna be out there at the game, please just don't use it, man.
Yeah.
Don't use it, because we were listening to the public address announcer.
They made graphics for this. They made graphics that put them on the scoreboard.
Their business.
Yeah, they're business. They're not joking around.
So there's no need for us to do that anymore. There's no need for somebody's gonna be offended. Somebody's gonna be upset.
Yeah.
We're gonna get fined. We're gonna get kicked out of the stadium. It makes all of us look bad. You're offending somebody, so just drop it.
Yeah.
Let's get mamones. That's it.
It's the right thing to do. Obviously, everybody feels entitled to their opinion, but here's the thing. They've already told the national team, please stop it. Now there's consequences.
Yeah.
So, we saw it in Dallas. I think they stopped the game for a few seconds.
Yep.
So if you're planning on going to any of the games this summer, please just take that into account. Find something else to cheer. There's a million different cheers they could do. Please don't do that one.
Right, absolutely. Ramon, it looks like we have our good friend Casiro Aoyama joining us through Zoom. So we're going to let him right in. A ver si nos escucha el buen Casiro. Let's see if he can hear us. We're going to raise the volume. Casiro! Wait. No nos escucha todavía because it's connecting to the audio. But we want to make sure that we get Wigue Casiro. Casiro, a ver si puedes escucharnos.
Sí, señora, aquí está, te escucho fuerte y claro. ¿Cómo estás, Joe?
Un buen abrazo, Casiro, ¿cómo estás?
Todo bien, ya esperando el final de este partido entre la selección de los Estados Unidos y Honduras, el 0-0 y por supuesto el partido de la selección mexicana ante Costa Rica.
A ver, ¿nos puedes dar un tipo de análisis o predicciones? ¿Qué es lo que has... Bueno, como un buen reportero que debo de ser, o conductor, déjate pregunto bien. Primero que nada, danos tu análisis de lo que se espera de este partido.
Pues mira, no creo que cambie mucho de lo que vimos nosotros hace 3 meses, de acuerdo a lo que declaraba el Tata Martino el día de ayer, previo al juego. Y lo que sí creo que vamos a ver de la selección mexicana ya en un partido oficial, en competencias, mayor intensidad, el ver de qué manera van a manejar el balón, los tiempos, el tener el mayor tiempo posible la posición y de que ellos vayan marcando la pauta durante los 90 minutos. Porque al final de cuentas todo cambia. Entre un amistoso caben muchas cosas y cuando es un partido de competencia, evidentemente hay mayor intensidad. A eso precisamente se refería ayer a Andrés Guardado en torno a la responsabilidad que tienen y por supuesto la obligación de hacer bien las cosas, de salir al terreno de juego y de encontrar el mejor funcionamiento. Ya tienen no mucho tiempo, pero ya tienen tiempo trabajando la gran mayoría, además de que se conocen y esto sería benéfico para la selección mexicana. Joe, amigos.
Gracias Casiro por este análisis. Estamos viendo, tenemos aquí al lado el partido de Estados Unidos contra Honduras. ¿Qué es tu análisis acerca de lo que está pasando? Son el minuto 85, muchas jugadas, no hay goles. ¿Qué está pasando con la selección de Estados Unidos?
Pues han quedado cerca, quizá la jugada de Reina ha sido la más clara para la selección de los Estados Unidos, aquella en la que sale mal el arquero y parece en el primer tiempo que el balón entra a la portería. La verdad es de que hay un VAR, pero no es el VAR con B grande, sino con el B chica, y que al final de cuentas no se analiza bien porque no hay buenas tomas para poder saber si entra o no el balón en su totalidad a la portería. Por lo pronto creo que se huelen, se respiran, se transpiran los penales y ya llegando ahí cualquiera de los dos será un gran volado. Yo creo que mayor presión para la selección de los Estados Unidos, sobre todo por lo que representa llegar a estas instancias de semifinal y que es el favorito para llegar a la gran final de este Final Four, pero ya en los penales cualquier cosa puede pasar y hay que recordar de nueva cuenta, mi querido Joe, que Honduras ha dejado fuera a Estados Unidos en los Juegos Olímpicos y ahora puede quedarse fuera de esta gran final.
Tienes toda razón, Casiro, y aparentemente parece que los hondureños vienen siendo los verdugos de la selección norteamericana y pues bueno, el partido todavía no se acaba, ¿verdad? Pero se les mira bien complicado. Pero hay que regresar a la plática de México y estábamos hablando hace un ratito de Andrés Guardado, ¿verdad? Pero para ti en lo personal, y nosotros ya dimos nuestra opinión, ¿tú cuál crees que sea el evento más importante para la selección mexicana de fútbol? ¿Y por qué?
Uy, mira, hablando en este año, Joe, porque finalmente, mira nada más, parece que no hay penales, se olían, se respiraban y parece que no es así. Creo que el más importante, sin lugar a dudas, en este año son las eliminatorias. Todo lo que pueda ocurrir con este Final Four es experiencia para todo el equipo mexicano, el conocimiento con el Tata Martino y lo que pretende futbolísticamente. La Copa Oro es refrendar lo que finalmente han ido corroborando durante esta travesía al mando de Martino y creo que finalmente lo más importante que tiene la selección mexicana son los juegos de eliminatoria y colocarse dentro de la Copa del Mundo del Qatar 2022.
Tienes toda razón, pienso también en eso. Si tomamos en cuenta las eliminatorias también, nosotros estamos hablando de los eventos en sí, pero sin duda sí, las eliminatorias van a tener mucho que hablar. Ahorita aquí, cuando estamos un poquito retrasados con el gol, estás mirando el gol de cabeza aquí de Estados Unidos. Así es que una de las llaves ya está prácticamente hecha, ¿no? A menos de que ahorita Honduras les empate. Si se mantiene el resultado y miramos a Estados Unidos contra México, asumiendo que la selección mexicana le gane a Costa Rica, ¿qué tipo de enfrentamiento esperas tú si es que se llegaran a dar esas cosas?
Pues imagínate, es el clásico de la región, es el partido de los más importantes, si no el más importante que tiene la selección mexicana ante alguna representativa de CONCACAF, y creo que viceversa para la selección de las Barras y las Estrellas. Es el clásico de la zona y sería el juego más importante que podría representarle sobre todo al Tata Martino, las condiciones, el estar precisamente en los Estados Unidos, que sea bien por afición no basta, pero creo que sí es sumamente importante el ganar para tú tener un golpe de autoridad en la mesa sobre lo que pueda venir en la Copa Oro, y pensando más allá, reiterando lo de las eliminatorias, que finalmente va a ser lo más importante. Pero sin lugar a dudas, este juego sacará más que chispas, porque tú sabes perfectamente, y amigos, de que en estos juegos realmente lo que se está jugando es el orgullo, es la pasión, es los colores, es todo lo que envuelve este entorno a este partido.
Bueno, entonces, Casiro, te agradecemos por todo tu tiempo. Ya está este partido de Estados Unidos contra Honduras justo por terminar y nos tenemos que marchar al estadio. Te agradecemos tu tiempo. Acabamos de mirar un tirito que se fue al ladito.
Yo quiero decir muy buenas cosas del equipo de Honduras. Nadie le dio la oportunidad de tener a Estados Unidos así hasta el minuto 89, parece, es cuando metió gol. Entonces, y todavía sigan peleando por el marcador. Entonces, Estados Unidos ganó, pero no convenció.
Bueno, todavía no, faltan 2 minutitos todavía.
Ya.
Bueno, Casiro, igual te agradecemos de nuevo por el apoyo y te mandamos un muy grande abrazo.
Igualmente, mi Joe, y rápidamente te doy la alineación de México con Ochoa, Araujo y Héctor Moreno los centrales, con el Chaca Rodríguez y Gerardo Arteaga, con Edson Álvarez, Héctor Herrera, Andrés Guardado, Henry Martin, y por los costados Antuna y el Chucky Lozano. Ahí la tienes.
Perfecto, Casiro. De nuevo, muchas gracias por esa información y te agradecemos. Estamos en contacto. Un abrazo.
Abrazo.
Ahí está, señores. Entonces, el buen Casiro Aoyama, ahí como siempre, cubriendo a la selección mexicana y al tanto. O sea,
el legendario. Gracias, Casiro.
O sea, es que imagínate. Pero estamos ya a justo de terminar. Ahorita miramos que va entrando la selección la selección mexicana ahí bueno, me imagino que ha de haber sido
en el estadio.
Ha de haber sido un poco más temprano que enseñaron estas imágenes. But Ramon, going back to what Casiro said, it's actually very true, and I can't believe we didn't even reference that or think about the qualifiers, right?
Yeah.
The qualifiers are a big deal, and they kick off September.
Yeah, and the thing about the qualifiers too, that based on what I've seen, they're going to have 3 games in a week because of the tight schedule for Qatar 2022. So this is going to be a true test of the fitness, the mental strength, the composure of Tata Martino's squad and the national team. So very much looking forward to it. And again, we're going to see what Mexico is made of tonight, maybe Sunday, and during the World Cup.
Absolutely. I'm like now starting to get hit as the sun is starting to come down. Like the sun is starting like to hit me. It's like it thinks that I need like another tanecito.
Yeah, no, gotta get the other side.
We want to give a couple of more saludos. The people that continue to comment throughout the show. Pregunta Luis Arredondo Mesa, ¿qué hora se va a transmitir el partido? So right now, if this game ends, in a timely manner,
30 minutes.
In about 30 minutes or so, más o menos que en 30 minutos. Muy buen Luis, saludos al coronel, dice saludos, eltrieng online, dice México los va a comer vivos. So
coronel, saludos.
I'm assuming that he means that the USA is Mexico is going to comer vivos at US. I wouldn't go as far as saying that, but a typical Pancho Villa's coronel, would say something like that. I think it's going to be far more. Again, they need to win this game, which expected for Mexico to do so.
Yeah.
But could you imagine, the disaster, or like how disastrous it would be for CONCACAF and the fans like us that made the trip, like for Mexico not to be able to beat Costa Rica and miss out on a U.S. Mexico
I don't even
matchup.
want you saying that. So let's not even stick too long with this topic. But no, looking forward to the game. Like I said, the energy is there. Everybody can feel it. Definitely the game before Mexico has been a nail biter. So hopefully they continue with that energy. Again, I want a serious Mexican national team. Stop with the experimenting. This is the time to prove it. The first test is Costa Rica, and it looks like Sunday they're going to be facing their nemesis, los Estados Unidos.
Their nemesis, man. I'm just the only thing I'm happy about the U.S. Matchups now is that 2-0 is like, I mean, yeah, they'll keep talking about South Korea for the long time.
Columbus a few years ago.
But the Columbus thing was like, it just to drive me crazy. So I'm just glad. Although, like, a lot of my very good friends are fans of the U.S. men's national team. Look, we're citizens of this country, man. A lot of us are, at least, and if not, longtime residents. And we're very grateful, like, for the things that this country has given us. And this is, at the end of the day, just a game. So make no mistake, just because like we root for Mexico doesn't mean that we are not appreciative of what this country has given us.
No, definitely. And I think whenever the USA does well, Mexico does well. We saw in 2002 that the USA was able to beat Mexico and give Germany a tough time, and that pushed Mexico forward. They knew they had to push forward because what they were doing is being complacent. So I think the USA needs Mexico as much as Mexico needs USA. So looking forward to the matchup. I think the ref just called the game, so we got the first ticket book for Sunday. So hopefully Mexico can do the same.
We're calling a couple of fans to come and talk to them, pero como que están medio chiviados, or something like that.
Es que muerdes, Joe. Es que muerdes.
Hey, if you're here and you're watching, by all means, come and join us. We're about to wrap up. We're just a couple of minutes away from saying goodbye, but again, we want to say thank you very much to our incredible hosts. The game is over with the United States. They move on to the final, and we'll be playing the winner of Costa Rica versus Mexico, which kicks off in about a half hour. So again, if by the way, if Mexico does end up beating Costa Rica, we're gonna have another pregame show from here, and this time it's gonna be a little bit longer, and we're gonna have a special guest also as part of the show as well. So, what can we say, man? What can we say? I want to basically just close things out, and I want you to give me your final words. While I go try to find the owner, a ver si if he wants to come by and say a couple of words. But
again, shout out to Raices Brewery. They're located here in Denver, Colorado, right next to the stadium. So again, if you guys want to grab some beer, I need to grab one before we go. And they have some amazing food trucks that come around if you're hungry. So definitely shout out to them. Now, predictions for the game. When it comes to Mexico beating Costa Rica, we saw them beat them 3 months ago over there in Europe. They had that flurry at the end of the game. So Mexico's going to hopefully can bring that intensity today and make sure that they're up early in the score when it comes to the game. And now, who do I want to score? Definitely some Chucky action, some Chucky magic. And we'll see if Henry Martin can turn it on. I want him. We need a striker that's going to be up there holding the spot for Raul Jimenez. And if Raul Jimenez isn't able to do it, they can be up there and be dependable and be able to make an impact in the front of the field.
All right, well, that's pretty good insight from your part, Ramon. And again, the prediction, nothing crazy. It's always somewhat expected. I think that it's going to be, I want to say 2-1.
2-1?
I see Costa Rica actually scoring first.
Okay.
So Costa Rica scoring first, similar to what happened with Iceland.
Yeah.
Costa Rica, in un descuido, they score the goal on them.
Yep.
And then that's pretty much when... El Chucky and company end up having to fire on all cylinders.
That's right.
Mexico ends the W with a comeback win, and the rest is history. Another
we'll
U.S.
see on
versus
Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if that doesn't happen, then it's gonna be like which that's what we do not want. And all of you guys that are in the Denver area, please make sure that you guys join us this Sunday. If that is the case, again. We're not going to be 100% sure until we see Mexico,
Give us a couple hours. We'll give you an update.
We'll definitely give you an update. But again, thank you very much for everybody that's watching or that watched today. Let me put my little musiquita that I like to play. A ver.
You got cumbias on the back. I like this one better.
There you go.
Hey.
So that
Shout
does that does it for us. Thank you very much for sticking around with us. That was an hour, Ramon.
Went by quick.
It didn't even feel like it, right? So thank you very much for tuning in, and please make sure that you follow us on all of our social media platforms at eltrieng online. If you want to share this episode, we're gonna actually enter you guys to win one of those ETO t-shirts. Also, we are going to be giving away a Pumas jersey. Out of all the jerseys, a Pumas jersey. Why? Don't ask me why. We're just going to give away one.
El cuarto grande.
That's what we're going to end up doing. But again, follow us, please, on all of our social media platforms at eltrieng online, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. Subscribe.
You're already on those channels. Might as well just subscribe.
Click the subscribe and then put the little bling, bling, bling.
That's right.
So on behalf of Ramon, I am Joe Rodriguez. Again, thank you very much for tuning in. We're going to head over to the game, and we'll catch you next time. Adios.
See ya.